Okay, let's continue work with our kitchen. On the previous lecture, we've done some details on this kitchen. We made this chair, we made this vase and glass by using some curve and revolve. You can watch previous lecture and also do this stuff. And today we are going to continue modeling some parts and start making some UVs. UV needed for better texturing. And let's open our reference. Not this one, where's... And today, if we will have time, we are going to start making some textures on our kitchen, make some another stuff. Maybe before I continue, I have some tips and tricks for you how to make some complicated forms such as coffee machines or something else. For example, we have some coffee machines which has some square format but have some buttons on them and a lot of details. I'm not going to use some references. Maybe I will do just from imagination, but you will have the same details on it. For example, coffee machine has rounded forms with some bottom parts, and we can start from cube, and after that start to divide into pieces. For example, if I will use multicut instead of insert edge loop tool because I like this tool. When you use multicut tool, you can press Ctrl. If you press Ctrl, multicut will able to divide the edge into the loop of edges. If you use just multicut, you can cut anywhere and you can divide your model with the edges. You can cut it whenever you want. This tool is really powerful when you need to make some divisions and model difficult parts. If you want to divide your pieces by the percentage, for example, on the equal parts, you can press Shift. When you press Shift, you can see these small icons with the percents. For example, you can divide this edge on the 70% and the second edge on the 70%. It's a really interesting tool, and you can use also Shift and Control pressed and divide by 10% of the length of this cube. And after that, we can model, for example, use some extrude, make some bottom part. We can make some, again, multicut with 30%, for example, or 40%, and divide this part onto the second part. And after that, I'm going to extrude this one into just a little bit. Here will be our coffee machine starts. And every coffee machines don't have these really sharpened edges. After that, I'm going to use some subdivisions. For example, we can use some bevel tools to add some corners here. Or maybe we can continue with low poly division of this model and divide it by the half. Sorry, my Maya is just a little bit freezy. Okay, I'm divided this into the two parts and using bevel. And here will be maybe some display. So, not, and first I'm cutting my model according to details that this model have. Maybe here will be some buttons, uh, and I'm going to use these buttons maybe around. Uh, let's think about how it will look like. When I add in some details, for example, and smoothing this coffee machine, it already starts become smooth a little bit. And according to the shape, I can change the position of these edges and make it more round, for example, something like this. And if I'm put some supported multicuts here, with the Control Shift by 10%, I will get some sharp edge here. But for the better modeling, I can change the orientation of these supported edges. I can add additional cut here, and when I delete some not necessary edges, for example, if I delete these edges and this one, and when I press 3, I will get the nice corner here. And next, I'm going, and here I have already first square angle. And this is also interesting how I can use changing of these edges. And maybe I can put let's try to bevel this corner and make 3 selection. Now my model becomes accurate. And also I can put additional subdivisions here to keep this corner sharp. And also I can put it here and here. And if I press 3 on the keyboard, I will get a nice shape. Let's deselect this view, and here I also have the flat corner. And again, in this position, I also can change the direction of these edges. Or maybe we can just bevel this one. But if I'm using some bevel, I have 5 angle face here. It's not so good for this shape. Maybe we can also can use this direction of edges. maybe we can try to change direction of these edges and use also multicut tool, and we can put it here. And we can delete this one, or maybe we can, let me think about how we can change. No, here I'm not going to use this orientation because I want to make some display here. Let's make some more multicuts here and here, and let's subdivide this one and see what we can change in this case. Maybe we can delete this edge for now and these edges, and now I can change this multicut and keep it, sorry, let's delete this edge, and now we can make this division here, keep this corner. And I'm going to delete these construction edges. And now if we subdivide, it's more accurate here, like a tube. And after that, we can add some multicuts around these corners, something like this. And in the end, this modeling process, it calls subsurface, or not hard surface modeling. If you want to understand how to model complicated forms and keep it, for example, they should be nice and smooth, but the shape is hard. And this flow is called hard surface. And if you're interested in modeling some details, like coffee machines or some complicated forms, you can find some hard surface modeling in the Blender or in the Maya. And here is a flow how you can change and change directions of the edges to model complicated forms for subdivisions. For example, in the low poly model, you can see direction of these flows, and when you smooth it, it becomes hard but looks professional. It means it calls hard surface. And sometimes they use some Boolean techniques, but after Booleans, they clear the topology. And here is some playlist of Maya hard surface techniques. Maybe I can share with you this list, and you can see the process of modeling hard surface details. And every details have this small bevel around the corners. And by applying this bevel around the corners and using this smooth mesh preview, your models becomes more production quality and accurate. And also you can see this playlist for professional modeling techniques. It means we're starting from the heart, and when we applying some fractions here, when we subdivide and smooth these corners, we can see these nice loops. And if you want to keep this angle straight, we can also bevel this edge a little bit. If we bevel it, we have this sharp corner here. If you want to make it smooth, for example, if we don't bevel it, it's like a round edge. If we bevel this edge, we have sharpened edge here. And if we're ready with this shape, we can make some duplicate. Let's call it reserve. I'm hide this reserve, and after that I can subdivide this. Let's go to the first mesh, first preview, and make it smooth. When you make it smooth, we have a lot of details, and we can continue model, for example, some displays here, and make some buttons here, and extrude some changes. If you're ready with the common form, if you first finish your form, you can continue do this stuff. For example, next I'm going to make some circularized display here. We can extrude these faces into the center. I'm using extrude, changing manipulator to the center, extrude it a little bit into the center, and then I'm going to circularize these edges and change the position a little bit and change the radius. Now I have the circular integration in the center, and after that I can make some another extrude here and change it a little bit, I can put it here. I can even scale it more, and when I press 3 on the keyboard, I have a really accurate circle inside. And if I add some bevels on these corners, for example, I can select inside edges and outside edges, and in the bevels we can open bevel settings. Inside of the bevel settings we have chamfers, and we can change maybe let's make bevel. And in these settings, what we see in the peers, we can chamfer off. When we chamfer off in the model, we can see these bevels. But when we press 3, we have really accurate and sharpened selection of smooth preview for this hole. Without chamfer, we can duplicate this model. Let's undo bevels. Let's duplicate this model and see a difference between them. For example, when we 3, these models. And if we need to make some sharpen edge here, we can select them. We can make some bevel. If we just bevel, it's really accurate and smooth. If you want make it more sharpen, let's undo and make bevel chamfer off. And without chamfer, we have really production quality hole here with many details. For example, when you start modeling and making hard surface, you are going to use this bevel without chamfers. This is a techniques which used professional modelers. For example, this bevel with the chamfer on, these bevels without the chamfers off. And in this preview, it looks like something like this. With the chamfer, we have some nice and accurate smooth, but without chamfers, we didn't see this smooth. But when we create smooth mesh preview, it looks more sharpened, like this. And these techniques is used in hard surface modeling. Next, for example, we can make some extrusion here and also continue do some settings. Make some extrusion, and when you continue add some details, you will get the final result with this coffee machine. Let's add some. You can use some different primitives for modeling parts of these coffee machines. And you can use some polygon primitives and continue do some stuff. And from this, you can create some coffee, how it means. In Russian, it's called rajok. Coffee horn. When you put it, you can model it like this. And after that, you can also make some subdivisions. And you can extrude it from this part. You can also subdivide it even more. Let's make the same as we done with teapot. The same techniques you can use, and we can circularize this part just with a slight rotation, or maybe without rotation, and we can extrude from this one and make another extrude, make some details. And we can also smooth it. When we smooth it, we will get some round details. And now we almost done with this coffee machine. This is a really rough example how you can use some primitives and smooth mesh preview for better modeling, for the modeling complicated forms. And also you can delete from the cylinder After that, you can also close these parts like we've done with the teapot. I will use fill hole and cut with a multi-cut. Sorry, I'm going to use some multi-cut and divide my bottom part to the pieces. When you divide, we can continue add some details and extrude uh, the part where our coffee is close. Maybe I should press F on the keyboard and let's make it more round with the circulars. We can extrude it a little bit, and from these parts we can extrude it down, and we will get these points. When we 3 on this selection, we get this result. Almost 30 minutes takes to create this simple coffee machine. And if we continue, add some details, add some bottom part, add some buttons upon these coffee machines, we will get a final result. For example, we can keep in this part, and if you keep low poly variant, you can use chamfer on and add some segments and use some offset, maybe or fraction, to make it more round. And you can use also soften edge, or you can use chamfers and subdivide it even more. Okay, let's save and hide this part. Maybe we can group this coffee machine into one group, center pivot, and put these coffee machines somewhere inside. We can make it smaller. This is really a rough model, and you should continue do and increase the quality of this mesh. But the process will be the same for these round objects with hard structure. And next, what I'm going to do, let's talk about UVs for we are going to continue do some UVs for the objects. For example, we can start texturing from this table. This table is complicated, has a lot of faces, uh, and for example, we need to apply some texture on this part. We can start with finding some textures in the internet. Maybe we can download some marble for this table. I'm going to use some marble seamless texture. What means seamless? On this texture, we don't have corners. For example, when we repeat this texture, we will not see the seam between the texture. Sometimes these seamless textures has a square form, and you can use and find some marble textures, or you can find it according to your reference. For example, I have marble, but with some without any picture on it, with some small dots. Maybe I can find how it calls. It's not marble, ceramic. Oh yes, this ceramic texture is almost fine. Uh, I'm sometimes I'm using just Google for your textures, but if you don't find any support the same textures, you can use almost the same, um, and also you can use some uh, for example, Polyheaven. In Polyheaven, we have also textures uh, for example, for the wood, for the fabric, for the metal, and you can use these sites to finding necessary textures. For example, here we can find some wooden floor, and also can use this wooden floor in our renders. Maybe we can use this one, and we can download the texture from this site. This site is free for use. I can share with you this link, and you can download it. Download textures from this site. Maybe we can use this laminate. I think this is a preview, and this is how it looks on materials, and this is the seamless texture. Uh, for example, if you use some textures and you want to change how much texture on your model will be, we can use some repeat this texture. If you repeat this texture, if your texture is not seamless, you will see some seams between this repetition. That's why you should find some seamless textures. And we can use 1K or 2K resolution for rendering. For example, if you use some 1K textures, sometimes when you increase the scale of the texture on your objects, you will see some points and some misquality pixels. And if you use some small objects and small size of picture, you can use 1K texture. If your object is really big, you can try to use more quality texture according to 2K. But don't use 4K or 8K textures, because the texture size is also increase your render time. And if you are going to use models in the game engines, you should keep the resolution of the texture is small, because about the size of the models, size of the texture also matter for objects. But when you just render in Maya, you can use the big textures, for example, 2K textures for big places. For example, we can add some plane here. It will be our floor. we can decrease subdivisions, and we can change center pivot to the corner and put it uh, in our room, something like this. Here will be our floor, here will be our table, and we are going to start make some textures. Uh, for the floor, when you use just plain, it's really easy to add some textures. You don't need make some UVs because plain is already has UVs, and this plane is just 2D figure, and it's easy to assign some texture on this floor. But let's try and start from this floor. Let's assign new material. We are going to use maybe some Arnold materials for the wood rendering and standard materials such as Lambert. Let's start with the Lambert and understand how to change the color to downloaded for the downloaded texture. I'm going to download 1K texture and let's see what we have. Uh, Next important step, what you should keep in mind, collect every textures you work on your project into the one folder. For example, my model is located in this folder, and I'm going to create a texture folder. And in this folder, I'm going to collect every texture I'm going to use in this file. It means when you, for example, submit your work, it will be easy to attach this zip file with your work. Because Maya don't collect textures into the file. It just keeps links for these texture files. That's why when you will submit your work for the texturing, you also need to submit the file folder with these textures. And that's why start collecting every texture into one folder. Where is my preview? I need to find some color. Here we have, when you download the pack for the material, uh, we have color, and also we have some normal maps. For the better rendering and adding some details, we are going to use also normal maps, and also we are going to use some specular maps and maybe height maps. These parts of the same texture will increase the quality of your object in the rendering. It means we are not going to use just colors. We are going to produce some shaders and use some maps for these textures. For example, if you download image just from the internet, there are some sites which help you to create some normal maps from an existing image, or you can use these special sites which is already provided with these additional maps for the texturing. It means when you just apply some texture color on your model, it means it will be look like flat or not natural. But if you want to achieve some production quality render, you need to create some special shaders for your objects instead of just using some color. We start from just using some colors, and then you will understand the difference between usage just one texture instead of using some shaders and maps for this texture. Okay, let's open our folder. Uh, Before I'm duplicating downloaded texture into my folder. And now I'm ready to use some first textures in this model. Uh, let's see what we have. If you don't see any textures, you can switch on texture preview. It means 6 on the keyboard. You can press 6 on the keyboard and you will see a textured object. If you don't like the color for this model, you can break connection and assign again, for example. You press this checker button, open the file, and find location to your texture and use this texture for the color. And now here we can see this laminate is really big according to our scene proportions. For example, this is really a big one. When we open the file, we have also a place.2d texture. By using this place.2d texture, we can change how much we need to repeat this texture onto our UVs. UV editor help you understand the model. We can switch off the checker and switch on our texture. Here is our face. We have just one plane, and this plane located on our UV editor from 0 to 1. And we can see the texture behind this plane. It means we have make some simple UV editing for this plane. When we open the color and go into place.2d texture, we can change repeat on these UVs, and you can change how much time these textures is used on this UV surface, UV area, and you can set the quantity of this repetition. For example, I like this one. If you use not seamless texture, when you use repeat texture, you will see, let's change the color for simple one. Maybe we can use some, for example, our image here, and you can see this seams when it repeats. When you use seamless texture, you can see you can't see this repetition. That's why when you find in some materials, you also can use some seamless textures. These seamless textures needed only for the laminate, for the walls, for the wood. But if you find some, for example, image for your fridge or whenever you want, if you don't use some repeat UVs, you can keep image without seamless. You can find just simple image. Okay, next we are going to use some difficult rendering, difficult, for example, settings for the walls. On the walls we have different materials. For example, here we have some marble, here we have just color. And for these complicated forms, we can start um, we can use some faces and apply materials only on the faces you needed. For example, I have I should understand which material is the bigger one. The bigger one is my white material. And I'm starting to apply some new material, Lambert, uh, and white for the texture, for the walls. And after that, I can uh, focus on the marble, and I can model, for example, insert edge loop tool or make some divisions with multicut uh, to divide faces for this. My computer is really slow. Okay, let's divide this model. Let's apply some multicut into area where we have some marble texture. And let's divide it like this. And I'm going to select just these two faces. Okay, let's select this one face, and I'm going to apply new material for this one. And here I'm going to use maybe some complicated material which is called IE standard surface. And on this IE standard surface, I'm going to set up marble texture like on the reference. I should find some green ceramic, green tile. Here we also can use not seamless and just texture. This one is almost like in my references. Maybe we can use this one. It's really colorful. I will download this like texture. Let's save this like JPEG, or we can even use some screenshot from it. You can use some Photoshop to creating some color textures collage for your texturing process. Or you can just make some screenshots. Use JPEG for your textures or PNG files. It's better to use JPEG. Okay, let's do it history. And here we have IE standard surface. Here we have white for the walls, and we can change the name of this material and call it walls. And here is IE standard surface. We will call it tile. And in the tile, we also have color. In the color, we can apply our texture file. And let's go to our folder and use some tile. Without any UVs, you see the texture can be weird and not looks like we assigned. The next step, I'm going to use some UV editor settings. By the default, every every cube has this how it calls. Не знаете, как будет на английском развертка? Unwrap, yes. Uh, The UV texture, UV editing, it means you need to unwrap your 3D model into the 2D texture, 2D space. We have textures. Textures is flat. Our model has volume, and the process of UVs, it means you need to unwrap your 3D model into 2D space. And this UV editor helps you understand how your models looks in 2D space. And if you have just color, you even you don't need to change your UVs. You can keep it by the default or make automatic layout. Here as we have create in the UV editor, we can use automatic layout. And when it automatically unwrapped, you can see these small details and faces according to this into our space. If you want to make it more quality, you can select, for example, faces here. We can select and understand what we select. You can select entire faces and make it planar. For example, we can use planar map to unwrap this square. And when we unwrap, we can see our second texture here, and we can even make some planar mapping only on one face. And it means when you planar, you can change the axis around this projection. You can use, for example, z-axis. Z-axis, for me, it's really cool. If we change axis and project, it means different direction for this planar mapping. Z-axis is better for this space. And after that, we can even rotate this face into this position. But better to use some UVs. We can change faces, and we can use select, convert selections to UVs. And now we selected only UVs for this face, and we need to rotate these UVs. We can rotate clockwise, and we can scale it around this surface. We can use scale, or we can use repeat of this texture. It's better to use repeat, and now we can see something like on our references. Here we need 4, and here we need maybe 3 or maybe 10. And also you can use some not stagger, you can use mirror U and mirror V. When you don't use seamless textures, it sometimes help you to get more accurate result. And now we made some floor. It's just a plain. We made some walls, and you can also delete history to see the materials on this object. When you apply some materials often at the end in the attribute editor. Next, we are going to change make some complicated UV settings, for example, for this model. Our chair has the same material. Uh, our chair has plastic material. We can use two materials or we can use one material. Maybe we can divide and make this part plastic and this part metallic. When we use some metallic or glass materials, we should use shaders. Shaders, it's a special settings for the materials which is used some understanding how they interact with the lighting in the scene and sees on rendering. Uh, when we think about rendering and materials, we have special folder where we can find every materials that we have in the stand. It calls Hypershade. In the Hypershade, you can see created materials and you can see the preview of these materials. For example, when you add some light and rendering, here you can see some preview how it will look like on the rendering. And now we can see our walls, we can see our tile. It's really shiny, and we can see this is our wooden floor. And here we can change some settings and achieve some results for better render quality. Okay, let's apply some metallic material on the chair basement. Let's find some Arnold and apply some AI standard surface. In the AI standard surface, we can use some preset and we can use some, for example, ceramic, chrome, and we can replace this chrome material. When we replace, this shader applies settings according to the chrome preview. And let's change it for the metal. When we name material properly, it's easy to find this material in Hypershade. And in the Hypershade, now you can see this chrome material. It means when you apply some light in the scene and make some render, our chair will look like chrome. But in the viewport, we have a simple preview render, and we didn't see materials and shaders such as chrome or glass in this file. The next I'm going to use some plastic material for this one. But before I'm using some plastic, let's make some UVs for this texture, for this object. Let's select object and make some UVs. Here we can see default UVs after some manipulation with the modeling, and we can use some automatic mapping. When you use some color on it, just color, automatic will be enough. If you use some fabric material, you should find some fabric seamless texture. Fabric texture. I hope is record. For example, we can use some. Let's use some interesting color. For example, if we will use this picture of texture, it's not seamless. Now you can see these highlights and gradients on this texture. For example, on the corners we have gradient. Let's try to understand what's the difference. I'm going to save this image and let's check that this image is not suitable for this chair. For example, let's try to apply some default material which is called Lambert, and on the color we will use this downloaded green texture. Let's use this one. And now you can see how this texture looks on this chair. In this case, when you use some really colorful and detailed textures, we need to do better UVs because now you can see how strange it can be and strange and we can use some maybe settings for this one. We can select faces, so we can select edges in this part. From the beginning to the end. White color, it means where we have some cuts on UVs. We should select every edge on this cut, and I'm going to sew them together to make one piece from this cut, because when if we don't sew this part, we see here really inaccurate seam, and if we move and sew these edges together, and after that we can select with double click, when we select the UVs and double click, we can select part of this model, and here you can see how stretchable this color can be. And we can use another tool which is called unfold. When we're using unfold, it means you can iron your object according to this space. This is really useful two tools to create some better looking texturing. This process is called UV mapping. You also can find some tutorials according to the UV mapping in Maya. And used this UV mapping during texturing process. And here you understand anything in Maya in 5 easy steps. Maybe it's really useful tutorial. You can watch it later according to these UV mappings. And now you will understand how you can texture and unwrap your models for better texturing. When I make some, for example, I'm selecting some corner edges. First step is automatical mapping. After that is checking some misperfections and changing according to the situation, moving and stretching, moving and sew, and after moving sew, I am unfolding this model. When you finish with these big parts, you can check small parts, but if these small parts not seen in the rendering, you can skip it. When you finish with this step, we can select this object and you can lay out these UVs in the UV. You can shift select, shift right mouse button, layout, and layout UVs, and it automatically collect all this model into our texture space. After that, we can change some tile of this, for example, model. And now you can see if you use textures with the highlights, when you tile in this texture, you will see these CMs when in the repetition. You can use some mirror U, mirror V's, and you can see even part of these textures. That's why I'm suggesting you to find some really seamless and high resolution textures. Maybe here is also seamless, or you can find some Freepik fabric texture seamless. And here is a really small velvet texture, but this velvet without any highlights, and it's totally seamless. We can use this one, and we can download this texture. We need JPEG. It will be chair texture. And now we can change the file of this texture. And now you can see difference between these two files when we use some repeats, and here is no CMs when we use repeat textures. And you can see every face has good looking texture preview. Okay, maybe we have time for another object. This one, we are going to use some marble texture. Let's apply new material for it and call marble. Let's find some marble texture. Maybe on the Polyheaven we can find some marble. We can use this one. And now this texture is not square, it's rectangular, and we are going to use this rectangular tool also and unwrapping some UVs for better preview of this texture. Let's save this texture into our folder, and I'm going to apply it on my table. Let's apply some. We already have some new material here. It's called marble, and into the color I'm going to use rectangular texture. Open this marble, and here we can see the result. Without any UVs, it looks weird, and we need to change UVs for this table also. We can start with selecting some faces, or we can create automatic mapping first, and after that we can understand how automatic mapping works. We can decrease the contrast between faces and texture. This contrast really useful when your texture is white. And here you can see automatic mapping works really great, and automatically divide your model into right squares. We can continue make some changes with the shift and right mouse button. We can rotate our faces and scale and find better image for your texture. It's not seen, but here you can see some uh, marble textures. If you want to increase this marble texture or decrease, you can scale and make some move uh, moving this face. And now we have a nice result for these big objects. Okay, let's save the result and let's see what we have. We need to create dark metal for other pieces of this model. Here will be our dark metal. I will use Arnold standard surface, and in the preset we can use some maybe rubber. And if we see in the rendering editor Hypershade, let's change it for the table material, table dark, and let's select this table dark. And here we can see the preview of this material. I'm going to add some metalness for this rubber material, and it will look like on the reference. We can blend different presets from the AI standard surface, and if we add some, for example, specularness or metalness, we can decrease diffuse roughness, and we will get more shiny result. But with this rubber, for example, tech feelings, and by using these life hacks, you can easily texture every piece of your kitchen by using AI standard surface materials with the preset. In the preset you can find we have brushed metal, maybe brushed metal also useful for this one. We have ceramic, we have clay, we have glass material, we have rubber, and we have velvet. And according to these presets, these settings changed and gets you feeling of this material, but this material looks only in when you set your render settings and lighting. That's why I'm using Hypershade for preview of this material, because here we have also Arnold render, and we have some environment lighting, and now we will understand how this material will look when we apply some lighting and rendering. And I'm using this material here. The next, we need to create some wood material and green material. Let's start with the green material. I'm going to select every piece with the green material. upper part, bottom part. I'm going to apply some new material. I'm going to use Arnold standard surface because when we use just color, it's better to use a standard surface with a preset of a shader. Next, I'm going to select this one, and also I can assign existing material. We can use standard surface 2. Let's standard surface 4. It will be our green. And on these small pieces or faces, we can apply existing material, green. And after that, we can start to change some settings for this material. We can use Hypershade to make some presets for this material. We need almost like rubber, but with the green light. We can use rubber and replace this material and change color for the green. We can use also even picker and get it from your texture. Maybe with a different it's almost yellow, but in the viewport we will not see good result. We should use our material preview. Maybe lighter, like this. Okay, almost done. Next, we have this complicated form. In this complicated form, we need to apply some wooden material. First, we should find some wooden material. I think this one is really warm and good looking. I will use this one. Let's save this texture and call it wood. Okay, let's assign new material. I will use some Lambert. Delete history, and in this we call it wood. And let's open this file. Let's assign wood. Without any UV settings, your material will looks weird. But we can fix this with the help of UV editor. And let's start from the automatic mapping. Check the result. If it looks weird, let's select faces that we need to be really accurate. And we can create planar mapping or best plane. By using best plane, you should select one face with the direction and press enter. And now with the best plane, you easily cut these faces, and we can use scale, or we can use repeat UVs. Maybe we can use repeat UVs. Bless you. And also one of these faces also looks not natural and not good looking. Let's change this also with the best plane. I'm selecting best plane, pressing enter, and now we have this part of UVs, and we can scale it to keep the same proportions with these parts. Or even we can put it together, rotate clockwise, scale it down, and understand where we have some edges. When you're selecting edges, you will understand uh, which part of this texture you have. This one is the bottom, this one is the upper, this one is the bottom. We can put it here and see the result. It's almost continue of these two faces. This UV layout, it really matter when you're applying some textures. And now we've got this wooden texture on the bottom. And here is also wooden textures, and we can just apply the same material on it. We have wood material, and we need to make some changes of the UV if it needed. Let's create automatic mapping, and here we need to make some best plane for this face, and it's rotated. And for these two faces, I'm going also to create best plane. And I'm going to rotate these faces clockwise. And we can put it somewhere here. When you, for example, model your parts, when you make some I need to change this one because here I have some extrude, and here's texture not looks good. I can change it for the best plane and rotate together clockwise. Now it's better. Even we can move and sew the edges between these corners. It's better now because this one is one part. If you want to continue modeling, you can continue do with the textures, and after that you can also make some automatic mapping. But it's better to finish your model before texturing, because sometimes it looks weird and you need to change UVs again. We can create automatic mapping and again use some best plane or planar mapping. Uh, when it's selected, it's better to rotate. And again, I'm creating best plane and moving these parts. And this corner should be 1. And we can move it near together. And if we move these parts, we should move these parts together. And now we have these textures done for the wooden material. Please keep parts which is in front of your render view really nice and clear. For example, these parts I will not see, and that's why I'm not focusing on the parts which I'm not seeing. If it's in the front, you should make the perfect texture place and make some UVs, check uh, imperfections and change it. If it behind, for example, something like here, you can skip this and not waste your time on this part which is not seen. And what else we need to do? For these complicated forms, you should also change UVs. We can open UV texture editor, select model, and create automatic mapping. When you create automatic mapping, you can see sometimes CMs in front of the model. When you can see these CMs, you can fix it by selecting edges, necessary edges, uh, focusing on it, and making some moving UV edges. And after that, you should also unfold your model to see the better result. For example, when you using some UVs on model, you can use checker instead of the texture. If you see if the squares is not square, rectangular, you should change the scale, for example, a little bit. If you see the texture something like this, you should keep like squares. And every square on the model should be has the same proportion. If every checker is on the right position, it means it's good. And also you should avoid intersections between parts of the model on the UVs. You can fix it by pressing Shift, right mouse button, Layout, and Layout UVs. And this one is good. And we can apply some metal texture on it. We can also find some metal, or we can find some texture. Or maybe some plastic texture. It depends on your reference. Maybe something like this. This one is better. Let's save this. This is also for maybe for the metallic fridge or metallness parts can be useful. But let's see what happens if we apply on this. Что такое? Ветер, наверное, да? Okay. And if you have the good UVs on the checker, you will have good texture view when you apply some texture. But here we fix these seams and we don't see any cuts on the texture. Here we didn't fix these cuts, and now we can see these sharpen seams of this texture. We can fix it by selecting edges, understanding where these edges. Uh, if the number of the same, we can move and stretch these UVs, and now it looks more accurate. When you in the texturing process, you should check, and you don't need to move and sew every part on the model. You should only check if texture not fits good. In this place, you can make some sews UV, so make some unfolds, but it's when it looks good, you can keep how it looks. But now, when I'm using some seams, we can unfold it a little bit. Now it looks accurate. And where is our material? Okay, maybe we can apply some new material and use some standard surface and make it plastic. We can make it plastic, replace, change color to the dark. Sometimes when you use standard surface and presets, we have some codes and subsurface colors. And in the subsurface colors, you also can change the subsurface color. And for this part, we can use our brushed metal. But here we also should create some UVs. When we have some cylindrical object, we have cylindrical automatic mapping. And when you have some tubes, you can use this preset for UVs. And now it looks better. And here we also need to um, modify, convert smooth mesh preview to polygons, change some divisions to the one, and after that we can make some automatic mapping for this part, and also we can select some places where we need to put our texture, metallic texture. But start at the beginning on the big material. After that, you can select faces and apply a smaller one. Maybe I will use some Arnold material, standard surface. Here will be maybe some. Let's use some chrome, replace. And on this part, I'm going to use some wood material. Selecting faces, and we can apply our wood material. We have automatic mapping, that's why the texture looks normal. And here I'm going to put some display on these faces. Let's find some coffee machine. Display should be round, square, but I'm going to use some round just for example. Uh, okay, let's use this image, and I'm going to apply this image on several faces. I'm selecting these faces, assigning new material. Let's use Lambert for the image, and let's find coffee machine image. And now on the selected faces, we need to change UVs. We should unwrap this UV according to the entire space. We can create the best plane, uh, pressing enter on the selected faces, and now we can zoom in and zoom out and put this image on this display. And now we have really detailed square where we can change some coffees. And even on other faces we can put the same metal material. And now we have this complicated texture and object almost on the 5 minutes. With the help of selecting faces and applying on these faces material, we can easily make some textures and add some details. But this process is only for the rendering. When you creating models for the games, you should keep every UVs in one UV editor square, and you should use some Photoshop to collecting all of these pieces into the one texture. Here is for the one object, we used several materials. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 materials for the one object. This is really easy for the render, but for the games we should use only one material for one object. And on the second station, we are going to use some substance surface, substance painter or 3D code for creating the same complicated materials, but into the one material. We are going to use some masks for this, creating better UVs layout, and using sometimes Photoshop to providing these detailed images into the one material. But for the interior rendering, it's easy to use this method of selecting faces and using these UVs in this messy way. But it looks accurate. If it looks accurate for the rendering process, it is fine. For the game engines, this process is not fine. Uh, but this way is really easy for when you're starting some UVs and texturings for the first time. This is just for understanding the process and getting the nice final result. Okay, I think we've done for today. Thank you for your attention. We will continue make some modeling for the windows on the next week.